to at some point, because I don't think it's selective, but sometimes you really can't hear me. You know?
I put a new operating system on my computer, and I don't think anything is functional yet.
Oops. Well,
Yeah, it's really.
we'll get there,
It will.
hopefully.
I have to get an expert to help me.
I need to find the email. There we go. I got cleated 2 weeks ago in a soccer game, and now, like, and it's this huge purple, like, huge.
What does that mean?
Like, another guy goes to kick, to shoot, and his cleat comes up and then lands on my leg, and it's like,
You play soccer?
yeah.
I didn't
Oh, I
know
didn't,
that.
when you said that, I thought you meant your son was going.
No, I play over at Riverside, like by the middle school.
Oh, yeah.
We play every Sunday.
Is it
Oh,
men and women?
It's mostly men. Yeah, my brother, like, I had just finished nursing Zane, so it was like 12 years ago. My brother's like, "Oh, you should come play with us. It's co-ed." And I was like, "Okay." And I'm like, pretty much usually the only woman there. There's another woman, Alex,
What
that comes
position
out.
do you play?
Usually defense.
I've got to watch you because I see them playing out there. I just thought if I'd known someone I knew was there, I'd watch.
Yeah,
What
Jeff
do you
plays
mean
goalie
defense? So you're not in the front line, you're in the,
in the back.
Defending the goal.
but there's three, there's.
Yeah, I'm
front
usually on the
line,
left
middle
side.
line,
That is
and-
so cool. I'm so impressed.
It's the only
great.
like regular exercise
It's
that I
great.
know that
But
I'll
you
get.
got cleated. That
That's
sounds
a
horrible.
lot of running.
It's a lot of running.
Yeah.
That's great.
Running.
And I don't like to just to run. So
Yeah, I
it's like it
know, I
motivates
know,
me
it's
that
Running
way.
with a purpose.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
it a big
I feel the
field as
same
you
way
see
about it.
when you watch professional on TV?
I mean, it's that little park. It's the neighborhood
Oh.
park. So I mean, it's a full size field. But sometimes we don't play full size. I mean, it all depends on who shows up. It's just pick up. We have
Sometimes-
a Facebook page. So if it's 5-on-5, we shorten the field. If 22 people show up,
I
then we
love
make it a full
that.
field.
Well, I'm impressed because that's a lot, that's hard, all that running.
I'm just glad there's an outlet for it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's great. I like that jacket, Robin.
it is pretty.
Thank you.
It's very fancy.
I'm a
I
very
was
fancy
searching for
person.
something else tonight, and I just happened upon a UN Climate Change High-Level Champions Conference that just ended today. It's
Hey,
been going on
Taylor.
2 weeks with a lot of young people.
Oh,
Yeah.
part of the like
It's
the
in
C,
Egypt.
the yeah. I was gonna say the COP 27.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of concern about like, protesters not really having a whole lot of civil rights there, and
Oh,
like
yeah,
what would happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been a lot of criticism about the developed nations not ponying up the money that they said that they promised to
Oh,
developing
yeah.
nations that are going underwater because of our actions.
Yeah.
Hey, Robin.
How's everyone doing?
Good, thanks.
6 o'clock.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, okay. Are we all ready then? Welcome to the Tarpon Springs Sustainability Committee meeting this Thursday, November 17th, 6 p.m. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order, and if we can get a roll call, please.
Chairperson Dory Larson,
Present.
Member Carol Mickett,
I'm present.
Member Taylor Mandalou,
Present.
Member Denise Menino,
Present?
Member Karen Gallagher, Member Robin Sanger,
Here.
and Member Jennifer Bracey.
All right.
Did she know to come?
She did. She is out of town.
Oh.
And Karen Gallagher has requested an excused absence.
Okay, so can we make that motion?
Motion to excuse Karen Gallagher's absence this evening?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Well, okay. All right. Next item is the approval of minutes. So we have 3 different meetings to approve. So if we could do those independently, I would like to entertain a motion to approve them. Did everybody have a chance to look at them?
Are we going to approve them individually?
Yes.
Okay, I move to approve September 16th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to approve October 21st, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to approve October 20th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. All right, next item on the agenda is our public comments. We have no one in the room here for public comments, so moving right along to our presentation, we have Julia Herbst, who is with us from Solar United Neighbors. So thank you so much, Julia, for taking some time to be with us this evening and explain a little bit more about the program and how we can help to promote it. And for everybody at home paying attention and at the edge of their seat waiting to learn more.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Julia Herbst. I'm the Gulf Coast of Florida Program Associate for Solar United Neighbors. So I cover work for the organization from about the Panhandle all the way down to Marco Island. And I am a Tarpon Springs resident and solar owner, so I'm really happy to share this opportunity with you, and thanks for your support. I thought we'd start out with a really straightforward, kind of fun, short video just to get us all what we're talking about. Solar United Neighbors is a national nonprofit, but we're really active in Florida as a field state. And we are really committed to consumer protection and education around rooftop solar. So we're not connected with any equipment or any vendor or any product. So we're really happy that the city has approved resolution to be a community partner for the solar co-op. So I'm just giving you some quick little updates on where we stand in the process and how we can do some more outreach, and just share some of the successes from the past so you guys can feel excited to move forward. Is the
We're having some.
Okay.
I don't know if the volume will work, but let's give it a try.
Yeah, that's something that,
It's possible it might not. So it's looking like it might.
yeah, that's common.
Does it?
It's how you, there's something to,
Would you still like to?
oh yeah, I guess I could do it. So this is about getting together with your neighbors and getting a group discount rate and support along the way. So our solar co-ops are organized geographically. So the current one is open to everyone, residents or homeowners or businesses in Pinellas County. And you actually learn about how the equipment works, how the financing works, what the economics mean. When we grow to at least 30 members, Solar United Neighbors releases an RFP, or request for proposal, from installers to install for the group. This is really hard. So we check all the licensing and the references, but we don't make the selection of the vendors. So actually members and homeowners from your locality review the bids and pick one. So as a co-op member, you actually get a direct consultation with the selected contractor, and they customize that to your size and your home and your budget, but at co-op pricing. They are very competitive pricing, but pricing is not the only factor. Things like warranties and equipment and how long the experience of the installer is really important. So we support you through the whole process. We actually have weekly check-ins with the installer. We have information sessions. The best way to join is just to go on our website, solarunitedneighbors.org/Pinellas. We just had an info session, so you can always ask us for the email to get that recording, but we have another information session coming up in December. So it's really free to join. There's no obligation to go solar, and every year we have, and you're going to get these solar ads, so should I
Yeah, let's shut that off.
stop that? Is that?
Oh, there it is.
I guess captions could have helped. So, but I just wanted to give you some context, and if you had any questions on the update. So, some great things that Tarpon has done. I brought to show you the insert on my utility bill. Where was that? So I know it went out here, but that's really hard to see. Really, the word about the co-op gets spread word of mouth. Our number one measure of how people find out about it is earned media. So we do a lot with the media. We've had a lot of good TV and newspaper reports on it. But locally, if you guys can tell your neighbors, tell your club about it, because it's we're vendor neutral and it's just a really good education process. It's great to help people people like hold their hands along the way. It can be really confusing when you're going solar. It's a really big investment, but unlike a car or an air conditioner, which is only an expense, going solar saves you money over time. It's a fantastic investment. It increases the value of your home, and we're talking 25 to 30 years. So it's a big investment that we want people to make an informed decision around. Like I said, we have one more information session on December 5th at 6. These flyers are really easy to spread around. They have a QR code for them. You can always go to the website. And I had Robin share our latest co-op flyer with the process and some of the pricing. So if people have questions, they can reach out to me at Florida Team, flteam@solarunitedneighbors.org. So just a little bit of context. The city was a formal community partner on the 2017 North Pinellas Solar Co-op. We've actually done 8 solar co-ops. So each one is its own like class or a cohort. They each have their education sessions. They each have some outreach events, and then each one is an independent competitive process to select that installer. So folks can join and shop around. They can go and get 3 other quotes on top of the co-op member. They're free to select whatever works for them. But we have selected the installer for the Pinellas Co-op, and they're actually doing really well. We'll probably have solar on roofs, at least one installation this year, which is amazing. So I really want to talk about electricity prices rising. You know, the Public Service Commission has approved Florida Power, TECO, and Duke, all of them, big monopoly utilities, for rate increases and over again, multiple $1 billion of rate increases. We know just recently, you know, the latest report is that all the hardening and storm response from Hurricane Ian will be all passed off to ratepayers. So we see a time of great inflation, incredible economic stress, and rising electricity bills. So going solar, on top of all its environmental benefits and its health benefits and what it does for a community as far as increasing the value of your home, it can be a real relief to a lot of families. So helping them say that this might be an attainable process for them and an asset for their home that's going to really lower your bills significantly and fix your costs for literally 25 years is really huge. So that's, you know, a great thing that we can count on right now. My husband and I just, we have solar, and we just looked around at where else can we save? Where else can we, increase our income or reduce our cost? And solar was like such a big help for us personally as a family. So I know myself that it's been really great to have a $30 electric bill. That's it. So just giving you some stats. So how many people have joined all of our co-ops? You know, some of the co-ops were open to Tarpon City residents, some were not. But we've had about 50 people join Solar United Neighbors co-ops from Tarpon City. Some were qualified, maybe qualified because we do a roof review. Some were not. Maybe they were just had too much shading, or the roof wasn't the right configuration or orientation. And then we've had 10 homes from Tarpon go solar. They've installed 93 kilowatts. Some of the carbon benefits from that, those 10 homes alone, we estimate how much CO2 equivalent offsets that will generate over 25 years. The lifespan that we use for solar is 25 years. And it's 2,813,600 pounds of CO2 offset, or 1,200, almost 1,300 metric tons. So it's significant in its impact for greenhouse gases. I really like to look at how much is being invested locally, though. So when they're spending on solar in their home, these dollars are staying locally. They're investing in local jobs. So those 10 homes alone have invested $213,000 in the local economy. And those 10 homes, we estimate how much money they're going to save on their electric bills. And this is conservative number because we factor in a rate increase, is $476,000. So those 10 homes are going to be saving $500,000 on their electricity bills over time. It's a lot of money they can invest in their families, in their education, in their homes, in their businesses, or any of their ventures. So I'm here to answer any questions. I came with yard signs or swag or flyers. You're free to have those as a conversation starter. And any other questions I can answer for you, I'd be happy to share. Yeah, Carol.
I have two questions. These are about Duke, because I know that there was the big controversy about them raising rates on people who have solar. And is that still happening, and will it raise it again as a base price that people who have solar have to pay?
It's not specifically targeted at solar. So both Duke and FPL, so Duke have instituted, the Public Service Commission last fall approved a large plan, and in that was including a minimum monthly bill. So in other words, if you do not purchase any kilowatt hours, any electricity units during a month, you have a base fee that all customers pay to be connected to the grid. That was about $12, almost $13 a month. So they instituted a minimum monthly bill. So regardless of your lack of energy consumption from the grid, it has actually tripled it. So there's a minimum monthly bill of $30. So still not a big bill overall, but it tripled us for people who are not using any electricity in a month to be paying more than their neighbors at a time when they use fewer grid services. So they're literally not consuming as much electricity from the grid, and they're overproducing at some times of the day and exporting that kilowatt hour, which is being sold to their neighbor. So Solar United Neighbors is, sort of a watchdog, and we do have policy and advocacy to protect energy democracy. We do have an action alert about those monthly minimum bills to ask the governor to look at that and bring that to the Public Service Commission to look. So we don't know if those fees are going to go up. So it's not technically just solar owners. Part-time residents or snowbirds, they go away if the weather's okay and it's not too humid. They often do not use enough electricity to warrant much of a bill. For part-time of the year, their bill is going to triple as well.
The other question I have, again with Duke, so Duke's trying to get people to sign up to use their solar as opposed to using rooftop solar. So can you talk about the difference of that?
Very briefly, so utilities are building their own solar plant. That's a part of their generation mix. So they understand that the cheapest form of generating electricity is solar. It's the most dependable. You don't have volatility of fuel with natural gas or coal. So they're going to build solar anyway as part of their generation mix. So a portion of that has been in certain utility subscription programs. Sometimes they're marketed as community solar. According to Solar United Neighbors, they are not true community solar. Community solar is actually owned and controlled, and you have some say and benefit in a true community solar. Community solar is not legal in the state of Florida. So the Duke subscription program is you're buying a share in it, and then after about 7 years, you'll start to get money from it. So you're basically paying twice. You're actually paying more to pay into these solar programs. So you're kind of helping Duke build the infrastructure that they're already building anyway and charging ratepayers for. There are some carve-outs for low and moderate income. A lot of this is going to corporations, and some are going to municipalities. So municipalities want to offset their greenhouse gases, and they have clean energy goals, and they don't have enough roof space to literally build it. So that has a legitimate place to be a part of their mix and their solution. But we really support solar ownership because of its wealth building power. And when a homeowner or a business owns their own source of generation, they also can protect energy democracy and have a say in where their energy comes from. So it's really an energy independence and energy democracy move. So yeah, they are utility scale subscription programs, and you buy a fee, and there's very little, if any, savings over time.
Do the co-ops do anything about batteries for storage?
Yeah, battery storage is really growing as an option, and the prices are coming down. In the state of Florida right now, the way our rates are, it's really for backup power in a grid outage, and the solar co-ops are very well equipped to educate and offer that as a part of your program. So you can get solar and solar plus storage, or you can get solar and get ready to add battery storage in the future. All of those are options. All our installers are bidding with a variety of battery storage options. Certainly after Hurricane Ian, we're seeing a lot more inquiry on that. Great questions.
So I had a question. So it was about the rate increases, and so I've been looking into like making solar myself from scratch, and it's a whole pipe dream. But so what you're saying is the minimum monthly bill, even if you're overproducing. I think they used to do like a credit once a year that they would pay you that difference. So now they don't even if you're producing like megawatts of power a day.
No, that's separate from the credit system. So we have a great net metering video that kind of explains that too. Net metering is still in place in the state of Florida. So monopoly utilities, so Duke will give you produce on your roof with rooftop solar. Your home consumes it. If you're making more than your home is using at that time, the excess electricity in kilowatt hours is going out to the grid and being exported, and you actually receive a credit for that. So it's a one-to-one retail basis throughout the year. So you get a little extra, you export it to the grid, your neighbor uses it, you get a credit on your bill. And then when you need electricity at night or when you're not producing enough, you use up those credits before you purchase from the grid. Those credits roll over month to month throughout the year, so it is a one-to-one net metering throughout the year that you're getting credit for. That's the foundation of rooftop solar economics right now in the state of Florida, and it's something we very much want to protect as far as jobs and the growth of the industry. At the end of the year, if you have a kilowatt hour bank left over, the utility will clear you out and pay you at the wholesale rate.
Gotcha.
So if you're currently buying electricity at about 13 cents a kilowatt hour, at that year end, you'll be cleared out at, it could be 2 or 3 cents a kilowatt hour. It's variable rate. So that's why you want to work with an installer, look at your electricity uses, and match the system sizing.
So that was kind of my other question. With this rate increase, is the wholesale rate that you sell it at, is that also going to increase, or is that not known at this point?
I don't control that. That's through the utilities. The cost of their generation is what they're purchasing wholesale cost. So if they're getting more and more natural gas, if they're adding more solar into their generation mix, that's what's going to affect the prices, but that's not controlled by, that's an element of the utility and the Public Service Commission.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. This is so interesting. You talked a little bit about businesses. Is there a separate entryway or a separate path for a business to participate in this? And do we have any businesses in Tarpon that are doing this or looking at it? And what are the benefits to businesses? But the other half of that is, what is Duke doing in that same, what are their offerings as opposed to this? Is there any kind of equity there?
Yeah, so as far as Solar United Neighbors co-ops, and particularly the Pinellas Co-op that's open right now, it is open to businesses as well, so they can sign up. Solar for businesses is even a better deal than for homeowners because there's accelerated depreciation, so there's another financial gain on top of just the regular savings. So currently, there's a 30% income tax credit for homeowners or businesses. That's off the total cost, so that's huge. That was just a part of the Inflation Reduction Act, and that was extended. It was raised back up to 30% and extended for 10 years. So it's really a good time. As rates go up, utility rates go up, it means you save even more when you go solar. So it really accelerates. Businesses are welcome to join. Before we have an installer, we always just say you may or may not be a candidate because some installers put businesses into a different category and a different pricing structure because of permitting and time frame and decision making. This installer is happy to install solar at the same co-op pricing for businesses. I haven't seen any businesses sign up yet for this one. I know last year in the Greater St. Pete 2021, which was open to all of Pinellas, we actually had a church go solar. It was the largest installation in Solar United Neighbors history. So it was 132 kilowatts. They're still not connected to Duke.
Wow.
As far as Duke offerings, it's just the one solar program. Businesses are a little different depending on their size because they don't pay that one-to-one rate. There might be demand charges. They might be on a different payment structure. So it's good to look at that and make sure you're in the right demand charges. There's different rate structures for commercial businesses.
All right, thank you.
Great. And I'll leave some materials with Robin, too. Denise?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. I was just interested in the number of people that sign up. Do they have to be within a certain geographic range?
Yeah, they have to be in the county of Pinellas right now.
Okay,
That's
so
the
that-
only
that doesn't-
limitation.
They don't have
So-
to be in close proximity.
Yeah, so it's not like I will only get this price if I get my neighbor. You won't get a referral fee if you get 3 more. It's nothing like that. It's open. The prices are fixed per watt, so it's an easy way to calculate up and down. There are currently 146 members in this co-op, and we're open till mid-December. So there's not much time left, but anyone in Pinellas.
When is the presentation happening?
Our next info session is December 5th at 6 p.m. It's on Zoom.
Okay, and it's on Zoom.
And even if you can't make it, please register because you will send you the recording. You can always email us and get recorded. There's a recording on the website. You can watch one at any time.
And I was curious, you said that community solar isn't legal in Florida. I kind of ran into weirdness about that when I was inquiring when we first moved here in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that differ? This is a co-op, but community solar, how does that differ?
Yeah, so the co-op is helping individuals use their private money on their private home to install a solar system as a fixed asset. We use the word cooperative not in the legal business sense. We use it to just mean a group cooperating, working together. Mm-hmm. Community solar is a separate legal entity. In the state of Florida, only a utility can sell electricity. So in states where community solar is there might be a community garden or a large area might build their own array and then people buy shares of it. So they have control over it, they're member owners, and then they reap the financial benefits of that.
I have another question. So many residents of Pinellas are retired.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing is that the credits you get are tax credits, right? So a lot of retired people aren't paying very much in income tax or state tax. Also, it takes, what, if you get a loan, 10 or 15 years to pay it off, and, you know, we may not be here. So what incentives are there for people who are retired, let's say 65 or older, 70 or older, to do this?
It's a great question, and it's something that we are committed to making Solar United Neighbors aware, because some people are sold a package and a price that includes that 30% income tax credit, and they don't have a tax liability.
Right.
So it is a real challenge depending on what your income situation. Same thing goes with people who are in new jobs or have unusual credit situations. So, you know, they're trying to get a loan and a credit score. So as far as seniors or people who don't have the tax liability to use that, it's just it's a real challenge and a barrier. There are very few other incentives in the state of Florida to go solar for a homeowner. So we do see very few seniors. Although this last year, past few years, we have great activity in the Hillsborough County Co-op. We've been doing them every year. Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa has supported Solar United Neighbors financially every year to run a co-op for 7 times now. Sun City Center. It was my busiest info session. It was a packed house. I thought, you know, these people are not going to be in their homes that long. They probably don't have the tax equity. They were in the threshold where they wanted to start their retirement and secure their expenses. They did not want a volatile bill, and they wanted to pass their house on to their children with solar and that stable high-value home. So you're correct. Are you going to be in your home that long? What happens when you sell it? How long of a loan? Big, important
So if I were to
factors.
do that and I sold my home, would the 30% tax credit move to the new owners?
No, it's taken by the year your system is placed in service by the owner who's on the contract name, who owns the solar system. If you don't have enough liability to take it on that first year, you can take it over multiple years.
Are there some states that just give rebates to people or give them?
No, that's an IRS federal guideline. A wonderful thing with the Inflation Reduction Act has opened up and reduced huge barriers for nonprofit agencies. So there is a new part of that legislation that is a direct pay. So that 30% tax credit has not been accessible to municipalities, to nonprofits, to schools, to, you know, your Boys and Girls Club, your YMCA that has, you know, a $4,000 electricity bill trying to keep the pool pumps on. You know, critical community need services. Now there's a direct pay option starting in 2023. So they can actually apply for a direct payment and refund of that 30%. So we don't have guidance from the IRS or the Treasury Department yet. We anticipate those coming out. We'll have those by the end of Q1. So we're really excited that that is a game changer for cities and schools and all those organizations that have brick and mortar buildings that want to save their money and direct it into critical services.
I know Karen had asked about recycling. Can you talk about that? And she's not here tonight, but
I don't have a lot of the details. We do know that the solar panels last at least 25 to 30 years is the measurement. They last much longer than that. There are a couple programs of recycling, certainly at the utility scale. They'll reuse a lot of the elements in panels, but we don't have a system set up for it yet, but we do believe that is building. There's a company right now that is, it's working with GED Green Tech, which is a large wholesaler. You'll hear most of the installers in the area will work through these wholesaler distributors, and that installers can take back their panels there, and when they have a container, they'll send them off to recycling. So these streams are beginning to be formalized so that, you know, we can see the life cycle of the equipment and the material. And we do have a frequently asked question and web page on recycling, and we hope to build that out more so we can promote those programs.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for your time. And we just asked a million questions of you, and you were able to just rattle
Tell
off
all
answers.
your
so-
friends. It's really neighbor to neighbor talk,
I know I
Excellent.
put it on my Facebook page and make
Thank
sure people know about the next session.
Great.
So
Appreciate your time.
thank you.
Go.
All right. So our next item is a follow-up, talking about sustainability website update and the use of social media. So, Robin, will you kick us off?
Yes. Okay, so from the last meeting, there were a couple different questions. I had some main takeaways for questions that you all were curious about in terms of the website and updating the website. So the first thing is just to provide some clarity for how difficult it is to add and take things down from the website. And by website, I'm referring to the sustainability page of the City of Tarpon Springs website. So there is some difficulty there in terms of updating the website that comes from the fact that, excuse me, we only have one website administrator for the entire city. And so she has to prioritize requests like that are coming citywide from all of the departments. And due to those, time constraints and access limitations to the website, it is not quite as simple as, updating. Here, can you update this? Can you update that? I spoke with our website administrator, and it is her preference to do like one major update at one time. So we can just mark up everything we want to update and send that all to her at once. And that is a lot more manageable for her. And so I would like to suggest that we do an annual or biannual update. We do at least one annual thorough update, and then maybe in 6 months we can do a check-in and see how we're feeling, and then we could do another one if we wanted to at that time, check all the links, make sure everything's working and up to date and accurate. I did also want to share that it is a lot easier for our website administrator to make posts to Facebook. That's a lot more user-friendly. It's less time intensive. And one of the benefits of that is we do reach a much larger audience. So I was able to get some statistics for you all. So we have 14,000 followers on Facebook. And so on average, over the course of a month, our sustainability website receives around 90 clicks per month. I will say, I think a lot of those are me. A lot of those are my department. I go to it almost every single day. So I don't know accurately how many we're actually getting. Whereas on social media, on our Facebook, we in October reached over 43,000 people and had over 4,000 page visits, and our posts averaged 2,000 to 3,000 views per post. And we, this month, had a post that got over 8,000 views. So when we're talking about what is the best way to engage people with relevant news, that would be our best way to reach a larger audience, would be through the Facebook. So then that brings me to the next part of it, which is what types of things for the city website. So that being said, it would be best to have content that is more long-term, that is informational, gives the basis of what we're doing. We talked about having links to relevant organizations and, putting our updates on there. All of that's doable because that's long-term. That's not going to expire in a month. So that would be our best bet for content for the website, or things that will have some long-term relevancy rather than time-sensitive items. And then for those time-sensitive items, using the city's Facebook. So, for instance, we have been using the city's Facebook a lot to advertise our solar co-op and sun, and we will continue to do that. It is also on the city's website, though. Let's see, was there anything else? I wanted to say first. Okay, that's my spiel, so do you all have questions for me?
So when I got I hadn't been here, so I looked at the agenda and it said website. So I went online and I put in to look at the website. And then I get this website, where is it? Here it is, that has this like warehouse picture on it
Oh,
with a solar panel.
yes.
But
That's
then
right.
if I go to the Connect Tarpon Springs and I get to the places where there's pictures, then I get to the website that we chose the picture for.
Right.
So why are there two? And the one that has this, I mean, the first thing that comes up when I Google it is the link to this one with the warehouse. And I'm like, how is, this does, it has a solar panel, but I'm like, really? So
Yeah.
what are we? Why do we have two? And which is the one we're supposed to be looking at?
So it's actually not a warehouse, that's actually our RO facility, and that's the solar installation project. So that's our solar phase one.
Right, but
So that was the city's first major solar installation,
Yeah.
so.
But
that's
it's all
kind of-
gray. It just
Yeah,
doesn't
if
look
you
very
don't know what you're
inspiring.
looking at, you might not know.
Well,
That is
I think
true.
most people would not know what they're looking at.
Yeah, so maybe we need to add some sort of description there or update the photo, but,
Or
yeah,
use
that-
the
so that
image
is-
we agreed.
yeah, I think that,
I think
that
we need
image
a
has been there
happy
for a little
image.
while.
Happy image.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but that's not a warehouse, that is relevant. That's why it's there. The Connect Tarpon page, that is another thing that we can use, another like tool in our tool belt, so to speak. That page, I have access to. I will say we don't get a terrible amount of engagement on that page. We get less engagement on that page than we do on our city's sustainability website page.
Well, that's because this is hard to get to
Yeah.
find.
Well, the city's like official sustainability website page is the one on the City of Tarpon Springs website with that photo of the solar panel installation. The Connect Tarpon is that's something that the city uses for typically specific projects. Like they'll create a page about a project to communicate updates about that project. Like there's one for the comprehensive plan update. I think there was one for the strategic plan.
There's one for our sustainability action plan engagement.
That's what this
That's
is.
what, yeah, that's why
Yes,
they're.
And
that
that's where we
picture's
had the
And
survey.
it's not updated because it's all closed.
Yes,
Closed.
that was the survey
Yeah.
that we administered. We used
And
that
it's
platform
sort of
for
a-
that.
Odd.
Yeah, but there's potential there to use that as well. We can definitely update that one too. But in terms of, the question from the previous meeting, which platform will give us the best engagement? That would be the city's Facebook page.
So I think that probably what we should do then is, and like that's what I want to talk about tonight, is what are the things that we want to have on the sustainability page permanently there? And then what's the, every month, should we then be thinking about things that the sustainability committee would like to promote on the city's Facebook page? Like, are there upcoming things that we would like to make the community aware of that pertain to us, that are more, like Robin said, timely and will come and go? So for the webpage itself, right now, what we have on is kind of a collection of things. We've got the sustainability plans from Largo and from
You mean on the website?
on the website, on the sustainability website.
I am still having trouble finding the actual website. I see the one that has the building.
That's the
That's all
website.
That is our
Okay,
sustainability page.
so
And,
it has
and
the agenda, but I'm not seeing.
there's a picture of Dory on it.
There's the two YouTubes.
Yeah.
and then there's the resources underneath it. It has
Okay,
our committee.
Resources are are what we were talking about, possible links that support. I think I sent some to Robin today, 'cause I think that it would be good to have a couple of outside entities, represented there that are crucial. Like the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that would be a good link to have there. Are we just gonna be looking at city links or things on climate change overall as offerings to people that are looking at our website?
I just first wanted some clarity on this item. So is it our goal tonight to go through the website and do our thorough markup, or would we rather do that in the December meeting?
I'd rather do that in the December meeting and get guidance tonight on exactly where we're going to go from here and what we need to do, what we need to look at personally.
Me too.
Okay.
I would say that the font is really light. I mean, it looks like a ghost, and it's hard to read. It doesn't make me want to read it.
You mean the color? Or
Yeah,
the-
it's
and the
really a
font?
light. Here, come over here and look.
I've got it pulled up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really, it's hard to read.
So what is our guidance for, what's the big picture here?
So some of this ties into is it our next item? Well, I guess it's part of this item too, was we were going to talk about links that we wanted to see on the website in our resources page, links to relevant organizations to provide those resources for the public. I definitely have kind of an ongoing list of things I would like to see updated on the website, and I'll be prepared to bring those to the next meeting as well. But just for instance, we have a new logo and it's not on there yet, so I'd like to put that on there. And our new resolution that was adopted at the last meeting should be on there. Our sustainability update to the BOC from 2022 needs to be on there. Our new member, her name needs to be on there, and there's several things. I'd like to put some more photos and remove some of the older links, outdated links, make sure all the links work, make sure the style is kind of what we want it. I think there are some limitations in terms of formatting of the website, but we can always, put in the request after our
And
discussion
we had
next
talked
month.
about, and it's on the Connect Tarpon Springs thing, having a statement about what sustainability is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have these YouTube things, it's good to put on it what they are. Why would I want to watch this? Like, why is Dory there with the fish? Oh, that's a Christopher Still painting, isn't it?
It is.
And who-
We were talking about the Sustainability Action Plan, and we were talking about community engagement, and so it was kind of like trying to draw people in to participate in taking the survey.
Oh,
and then
right, you went
participating.
and did that, didn't you?
Yeah. So that could probably come off.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? This one?
That's Robin talking.
Yeah. It
that's
was,
Robin?
we filmed them on the same day.
Okay.
Slightly different video, though.
So for next meeting, we're trying to think of like long-standing, persistent things to go on the website.
Yes.
Like a
Exactly.
new picture?
Making sure everything is up to date, and we all the links work. We have the resources on there that we want to be on there. Everything's relevant, and like you said, long-standing, content.
Would it be helpful, well, I would find it helpful if you could send us in the interim what you've done or your suggestions, so we won't be reinventing the wheel if there's something you've
Okay.
already looked at.
Sure, yeah, I can definitely do that.
And also what the limitations of the template that is being used, you know, whether there's font limitations, background color. I mean, because I'm in total agreement with Carol that it could pop a little bit more and be more stimulating and more inviting to, you know, to look at.
More sustainable.
Right. Yes,
Well, I think there's also ADA considerations that need to, like, people that are, you know, that have accommodations, that the website is meeting those needs,
That's true.
because it's a city website.
And what are those things?
Like ADA accommodations, the font color, the size, there's, you know, making sure that things aren't flashing, because that can trigger
Oh, I
for
agree.
people.
I
So,
agree with that.
I mean, I don't know them all because I'm not a communications
Yeah.
expert, but I just know that there are.
But I would think bigger font and not be so ghost-like.
It is ironic, it's like sustainability, it looks like,
Yeah.
ooh, sustainability.
It does. And you go, what's in this building?
All the magic happens in that building.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going in there. It should be bright and colorful and look like fresh and engaging, and we're restoring the world.
That's a tall order.
What?
So that's a tall order.
Well, we chose that one picture, remember? And
Yes.
that was pretty good.
Well, and it's also got to that bar.
Yeah.
It has to fit
horizontal,
in
but
that
the other
format, that
one's
it's going to cut a lot of the picture off,
The other one's horizontal.
but it may cut the bird off or whatever. Just saying, we need to.
Yeah, but we can find a better picture than
Agreed.
this.
Okay, so are we ready to move on? Do we think that we've got some?
So we're not talking about content tonight. We're just going to get these answers, and then the next agenda, we're talking about links that we feel would be of value as permanent or semi-permanent resources.
Yes, and I will say, I did have an email from Karen to share with you all. But it was along those lines of links, like some organization links that she thought should be on the website for the discussion. And, you know, we had the link from you, Denise, about the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change website. And Karen's recommendations were to have Keep Pinellas Beautiful, their link on there, Tampa Bay Watch, Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful, and Friends of the Tampa Bay National Wildlife Refuges. And she also recommended looking toward our Park and Rec Department, the local high school environmental club, and Peace for Tarpon. I think that's for later. That's for community
Yeah.
partners. That's not for
But
this.
I think that maybe what we can do, and I know that you can do this, is like link a document that are community partners, and then that document can be changed throughout the year so that they're not having to constantly update that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we could try to do something like that. Like having some sort of Google Doc or something like that.
Correct. And then,
Foundation.
so like that would link, it would say like community partners, and you would click on that and it would pull up the Google Doc or whatever. And that would have the list of partners, so that it's not like just this.
Yeah.
I will have to look into that. Our IT does have concerns about Google, like
Okay.
Gmail. So I will have to see. I still think the best goal would be to kind of do our biannual update, and then at that time we can update anything. I don't think most likely it should change too much in a couple months.
What's your
month
goal
period.
to
Well,
update
if you
it?
don't mind, let me just finish that thread. Then maybe like a link to a PDF that has a list of all the community partners,
Yeah,
or ways
no,
that people can
that sounds
engage.
reasonable,
And maybe
yeah.
even word it
do
as
that.
like ways that you can engage in sustainable organizations, so that it's not like an endorsement, the city saying like, these are, you know what I mean? But it's just a list like that.
Right.
that would be, you know what I mean, like a PDF, and then it wouldn't be a Google Doc. It would be static, so we could only change it twice a year, but at least I'm concerned about having like long list of things on the website, because then it just becomes overwhelming to keep scrolling. You know what I mean?
Do you think that, so is this list, this will be for community partners, or this will be for website links to other organizations, or both?
Well, potentially both.
Yeah, I definitely
Like two
feel
separate.
that we have to have the global perspective. I mean, what we're doing is a local level, but I feel that resources that are expressing what people are looking at on a global level are really important. In fact, my favorite link that I shared with Robin was climatenasa.gov, because it's very active and constant and showing what's happening all the time.
NASA, NAS?
Yeah, it's
NASA?
climate.nasa.gov.
Okay.
Shows carbon up 419, global temperature up since 1881. I mean, it has all these stats that are just really, really clear and educational at a glance. I think that's the optimal, is just something that's going to quickly express the dire situation that we're in.
The Volo Foundation's really good, too.
What is it?
Volo, V-O-L-O.
VOLO.
They do all this, they do things in Florida. They're the people that host the Florida Climate Week.
Right.
And
So let's
they
talk
put
about
out
community
stuff all the
partners in a
time.
minute. Let's finish up the conversation about the website itself.
Okay.
So does everybody think they have an understanding of what the conversation will be next month about the website? Excellent. Okay. All right. So the next item then is discussion of calendar of events for 2023 and event attendance recommendations. So Robin, kick us off, please.
Yes. Would you all like me to pull that up, that list?
I think that would be helpful.
Okay. Okay. Let me go back over here. So at the last meeting, we talking about some of the events that are going to take place in 2023, city events, and then coming up with a list of maybe some of those events we could participate in or engage with. So I spoke with our recreation department because they, plan and host most of the city's, City of Tarpon Springs events. And we talked about some of the better events that they feel sustainability would, really stand out in and be a really good presence at. And so I've listed those events. Some of them are single occurrence events. Some of them are series. So I'm not suggesting that we participate in necessarily every single one of these. Have to take into consideration, the timeline, and a lot of these events, they don't have dates set yet, so it's a little hard to tell when exactly they will be. But the Knowledge and Nibbles 4-part series, we're definitely doing that. I actually organized those, working with our Cultural Services Department. So those are set. We have set dates for those, and I'll be talking more about that later. We have an item for that. Earth Day, Arbor Day celebration, we definitely intend to do that, to partner again with the library and Shannon, our city arborist, and potentially our water division as well, and do another Earth Day, Arbor Day celebration like we did last year. And then the Back to School Splash and Eco Fest, highly suggest we do that one since it's literally Eco Fest. That's the theme. So I feel like we should do that. The Drive Electric event that I was referring to there, it has not been confirmed as to whether that will take place in 2023. That's an event that City of Oldsmar, City of Dunedin, City of Safety Harbor, and City of Tarpon Springs did collaboratively several times before, but did not do it this year. So in terms of whether that will take place next year, I am not sure yet, but I put it on the list just to look out for it. The series, there's several beach cleanups scheduled, or tentatively scheduled for 2023, and of course, First Friday every month, and the Sunset Beach Concert Series takes place over several months. So there are opportunities there to engage when possible. And then, of course, the Touch a Truck and Open House, if you all are familiar with that, that's a really great event to participate in. Departments, all the city departments participate in that, and it has a really great turnout every year. So, yes, welcome your thoughts on some of these event suggestions.
Can you give us some dates or like time frame? Like Touch a Truck typically happens in February, I think.
Yes.
Can you go through that kind of?
Yes, I'll do my best. The only one I can say for certain is the Knowledge and Nibbles series. Those are the only ones we have set dates for that I know of. But Touch a Truck does take place usually in February. Knowledge and Nibbles will take place, I think the first one is February. It'll be February through May, once a month. Earth Day and Arbor Day, that is in April. Back to School Splash and EcoFest took place in, I think it was August this past year, just a few months ago. The Drive Electric month is October, right?
It's at the end of September, beginning of October, but in the past, we've done the Drive Electric event in November because there's hurricanes and it's hot and it's mosquito-y and not really pleasant to do outdoor events in the middle of August or September, so.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Beach cleanups, I think they usually schedule those a couple months apart. Like, I don't know exactly how many there were this past year. I want to say there was like 4 or 5 that the city hosted in partnership with Keep Pinellas Beautiful. We know First Friday how that is. And then the Sunset Beach Concert Series. I also don't know the exact date range, but I think that series starts in the spring and goes all the way through the summer and ends in the fall. So I think it's a pretty lengthy series. It's over several months.
What's the series that happens down at the Sponge Docks? Is it happening again? Night on the Islands? Is there, I feel like we've got to do something to bring the entire community into a sustainable awareness, so maybe that would be an opportunity as well.
I don't think the city's doing it anymore. Tina Bukovalis was spearheading
That's
that
right.
and got federal funding to do it.
Oh.
And the funding is not, I don't think we're actively pursuing it.
Yeah.
So.
Tina's gone. She made all that happen.
I know there's a lot of festivals down at the Sponge Docks.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a recurring event
Hippie
every
Fest.
month or yeah.
Hippie Fest is in August.
Right.
That might be a good crowd.
Yeah, this list is really just about the minus First Friday city-hosted events. So I didn't really go into too much of like Merchants Association events, but I mean there are so many events that take place
So
in
it's just
Tarpon
purely
every year.
city.
Other
And
than
I
First
think that
Friday.
we shouldn't get too ambitious either because, that's a lot of events anyway that we could potentially engage in. And Robin's one person as a
That's what I
staff
was
member.
thinking.
And these are typically on like weekends and things. So we need to be respectful of that and thinking about that as well. But,
I
Just-
would agree.
So, okay, so I don't know how to solve this, but this is just an observation. We have all of these events like First Friday, let's just take that. And then all of these people come here in their cars, right? And and primarily gas cars. So it's not really promoting sustainability. So it would seem to me that one of the things that would be good at all of these big events where all of these, I mean, there's so much car congestion in Tarpon and gas cars, that to have as much information about electric cars at all of these events would be really great. Because if even a percentage of people can reduce that footprint, that would be good.
Well, I definitely think the Touch-A-Truck, that the leaf should be there and the kids could be touching the leaf, right?
Touch a leaf.
Touch a leaf. And even some fun educational parts, like, you know, where's the tailpipe? Things, you know what I mean?
Right.
And some education
I
about
mean,
it.
there's so many things about electric cars that, you know, people ask you, well, what happens, if the battery goes dead? There is no battery. What about the spark plugs? Well, what about the, you're right.
So let's get back to, like, I think deciding what we want to engage in. At least maybe like, Robin, can you give us like a number, or like what you're looking for in terms of from us?
So I don't have yet information about the dates and other than the Knowledge and Nibbles. So I can't confirm about Drive Electric, but this is just, to give an idea of what I am interested in participating in 2023. And, like you said, I'm also trying to be realistic about what I can do. And then I also wanted to, I know we had a discussion at the last meeting about seeing if maybe there is a way we can engage the committee at some of these events in the future. It is challenging with Sunshine Law, but, perhaps we could have like one member at a time table or something like that with me.
Does the city have a table like at First Fridays?
So what I did when I was advertising our workshops was I shared a table with our recreation department, who for several months of the year, they're at every First Friday. Oh, I want to say they're at most First Fridays throughout the year. So I just kind of partnered with them at several of these events. But I would like to kind of have our own table for this year, and for the, especially for the Touch-A-Truck. And the First Fridays, I think, I don't know exactly, because I have not personally signed up for one, but I do know it's like a first come, first serve in terms of getting a table at those. So I'll find out more information about how to sign up. But I thought it was just fine to partner with recreation and table together.
Do we have a banner that you put on front of the table that has our logo and says sustainability and is a really nice, like, blue color or something like that?
I'm working on that.
Okay.
Hoping to have that, something like that soon, some
How
sort of
about
display.
the
Carol, if you don't mind-
farmer's market?
Carol, if
Yeah.
you don't mind being acknowledged, because I know Robin's been waiting and we've been rapid firing questions.
sorry.
So
Yeah.
Thank you, thanks. When I look at this list, I loved you at Touch-A-Truck. I mean, you've got kids, you've got parents, and a lot of times an event where the parents are kind of standing around looking for adult, conversations or interested about what you're doing and so forth. I think that's ideal. But going further down the list, the Knowledge and Nibbles, I can't wait to hear what you have going with that. Earth Day, Arbor Day, Natural Fit, EcoFest, yes. Drive Electric, yes. As far as the beach cleanups, it's kind of the beach cleanups I participated in, it's like everyone's trying to, you get your T-shirts and you sign up and you get your bag and I don't see it where people are really interested in engaging other than you're there, you want to clean up the beach and go home. It's a Saturday or whatever, right? So I don't know that would be, I'm just trying to think of what would be the most fruitful ways for you to engage. Same thing with First Friday. If you would like to go to a First Friday and partner with the rec department, I think that's great. But First Friday is also kind of a frantic, very crowded event. I don't know, people are in the mood to learn, you know, hopefully they're always in the mood to learn about what's going on in the city, but I'm just trying to think of the bang for your buck, or what your return would be on the investment of your time. Same thing with the Sunset Beach Concert Series. People are there to hear the music and mingle and talk, and your popcorn truck and your rec department and so I think that might not be as fruitful as some of those other ones. That's my opinion.
I would
I
agree totally that, I was going to say that before you said it, and it was perfect, is that the single occurrence events are much more pointed and much better for the environment of conversation. But I don't see that could be a possibility at the beach cleanup First Friday or Sunset Beach concerts. So I think that would be a wasted effort. And if you have limited time, and opportunity, you may as well focus it really well on those other events, which make total sense for a sustainability presentation or presence to be there.
Great. I think that
Thank you, Robin.
I think that we're all kind of in agreement on that. So I just to kind of put a pin in this item, and then we can move on. If we could, as soon as you get the calendar, I think it would be nice if we could kind of almost sign up. If we, you know what I mean? If sunshine would be an issue for us all being there at the same time, but be more proactive this year about us attending, in addition to having you there, so that we can engage with the community as well.
Sounds good.
One more. What about the farmers market? Because that's a community that would be interested in sustainability.
Is it a
Second
city
Saturday.
event or?
Second Saturday.
Is Second Saturday a city event?
That is not. That's a
Merchants.
Merchants Association event. I will say I would maybe have the same concern about, like you expressed very well, Robin, about the multiple occurrence events, since people are kind of going there thinking that they're going to be interacting with like merchants, and they're going to be seeing cool stuff and crafts, and then maybe not like getting a lesson or something on sustainability,
Don't educate me while I'm trying to buy some turnips.
I'm trying to think.
Okay. All right.
That's funny.
Okay. So then let's move along to the Sustainability Action Plan. So what I was just asking for with this item was not to have a discussion about the items, because Robin still has not had a chance to hear from staff conclusively and get all of their input. I just wanted to, because we went through them that one night, we axed a lot of them, we added some things. So I just kind of wanted us all to have some visibility of where we are currently. But not really for a discussion, more just for our knowledge of where we kind of are. So Robin, take it away.
I'll pull that one up too. Okay. Yeah, so as Dory mentioned, this is where we kind of landed after our September meeting, when we went through and we had our dedicated meeting to narrowing down our actions. And as you know, we combined a bunch of actions and took out parts of actions and added parts to actions, and it did get a little bit crazy. So this is just a exact list of how we changed the items at that meeting. So I haven't changed the wording yet. Like, I don't know if you saw the, like in red, trying to find an example, like in red, that was a verbal comment from the meeting, so I just have put it here. I haven't yet updated the language yet, or necessarily changed it to reflect those comments yet, but this is kind of an accounting of what we where we landed after the September meeting, if that makes sense. And the only thing that's different is that we added in one action. And as Dory mentioned, yes, I'm still working with staff, meeting with all the departments, going over this with them, and so I'm not ready to speak to that yet. How actions may or may not change depending on staff feedback. But the only action that has changed or been added is this one, number 54, and that was in relation to a lot of comments from the committee, interest in making sure that we do have a comprehensive action related to art and public art. So I don't know if you all saw this or noticed I had added this, but I would be curious to hear your opinions on this action, since this one is a new action.
I noticed that you added it.
Okay.
Well,
That it was added.
we had a chat about this on the phone, so I did write up something. I only made 2 of them. I was going to give one to Dory and one to you, but I can discuss it. Do you want me to, or do you just want me to give this to Robin?
I guess just give it to, I don't want to have just one and then the other people can't
Okay.
see what I'm looking
Well,
at.
I can read it.
Yeah.
But I'll say that, and this is the conversation we had, that when I had made the comment about how I wanted art involved, I really wasn't so much thinking about public art, because I know that that's taken care of. But the sense of the importance of having artists, I'll just read it. The way to have the most creative, productive, sustainable, and memorable Tarpon Springs is to have artists and creative thinkers as its citizens. This involves, but is not limited to, visual artists, performers, architects, authors, culinary chefs, entrepreneurs, engagement practitioners, environmentalists, and practice creative thinkers. To maintain and attract such creative people to Tarpon, there needs to be a structure for artists at all to be valued for their innovative and creative minds, be included in decision-makings in all aspects of city decisions, including policy and city designs, be recommended as participants in commercial and corporate enterprises, including the developers, and having the city establish and support a place for them, support a network for communication between artists, create a public database of artists, and create and support a hub or place for artists to gather, perform, and show their work. The hub is to have a staff. So basically the idea is to really have a sustainable community. You have to have creative people, and you want to attract them and you want to keep them there. So to have these sorts of things would help to do that. And I mentioned to Robin that Creative Pinellas, which is the county arts organization, has been given money from the county and from the tourist bureau to do a cultural plan for the county. This is a big deal for them to be able to do that. And that will include this type of thing. So I think that it's important to include that in a sustainability plan for a city, because this is what helps to make a city sustainable.
So are you suggesting then this 54 would be changed to?
Well, it can have both aspects.
Okay.
It can have the thing with public art, I do public art, it's not like I don't value it, but they're objects, right? They're like an object. But what you want is you want to support the artists who do that sort of thing. You don't want just the object, you want that creative juice.
So you're talking about supporting the system, not just the art.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So how would we put that in the sustainability action plan?
Well, sort of like what I'm outlining here, that 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 the city, to be sustainable, supports a creative class of people. And that's not just visual artists, it's all types of creative people. And we've seen this happen in communities who embrace that they become very thriving. I mean, St. Pete basically
Right.
did that. And they now have not only practicing artists, but they have a whole host of people that are attracted to that, who benefit that city. You know, they bring money, they bring all types of things. And that is missing from the city. There's been no effort to do this. And I think that it's crucial as a creative person that lives in Tarpon, it feels, and having met different artists of different types who it's like, you live in Tarpon, you know, who knew that? So there's no way to create a community of creative people.
But the Creative Pinellas action that they're doing countywide, if we talked about tapping into that, would that suffice? Because
no.
I don't know how to succinctly what you're saying put into I'm trying to get an actionable item to add to it is what I'm
Well,
getting
I
at.
think that we'll have to try to do in a succinct way. So what I'm just trying to do is put this out there and say, this is the sort of thing I think, this is about sustainability, which is what we're focused on. And I think I think it's crucial to a city. Now, Creative Pinellas is very much interested in partnering with Tarpon. I know that because I've engaged with them a lot. So, but the city has to acknowledge it.
So what I'm thinking, maybe just adding in one more item, similar to what's in local economy for number 20, it says plan development. And it talks about amending local economic plans and strategies to focus market demand for, but it would be, instead of green jobs, it would be for the arts.
I think you're going down the exact right way, is because it's the economic impact of sustainability, so that's where it should be placed, that to have this creative component to the city's economic engine increases the sustainability of the city in multiple ways.
So I would use artist and creative thinkers maybe, or creative, because artists make people think of people who just make paintings or something. But I use artists in a very broad way. So
We'll
you
just
might
so
want to put
creatives.
Yeah.
which is a creepy word,
I
but
know.
it is what people use.
Yeah.
Creatives, or creative people.
Creative
So do we
class.
have support
Oh,
to do that?
Yeah,
This is action 20.
So it would follow like Action 20, which is under local economy. Do you see it there? Mm-hmm. But so it'd be worded similarly, but it would local economic plans and strategies to focus market demand for creators.
Yeah, creators.
Creative thinkers, creative
Okay.
doers.
You just said creators.
We can we can wordsmith it
attract-
later, but that's the intent. I think
and
is
to attract the
And maintain
attract
people.
and, yeah.
right. And then it goes on. Strategies could amend zoning regulations to remove barriers or provide flexibility for the arts.
Okay, so
That would
this,
be good.
this would be changing 54 or an
No,
additional?
in 20.
54.
Before it goes away.
54 goes, okay.
So it would be
Okay.
21 or something.
Yeah.
I see.
Thank you, that's really good.
Okay.
That's
Welcome.
perfect
That's
place.
actually
where
the
it
perfect
fits.
place for it.
It is.
And the wording is basically, do you have questions about the wording or anything?
No, I'll just watch this later. That's why we film
Pipes or
them.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All
I'll
right.
give you the thing I wrote up.
Yes, please, that would be great.
I made you a copy.
All right. So we will put a placeholder in the sustainability actions, and we will hear back from Robin in December on that after she's gotten more input from other staff. So the next item is looking at voting for the 2023 chairperson and vice chairperson. So like I mentioned at the last meeting, I would like to hand the reins over for a new chairperson. I just know personally I keep missing meetings and I feel really guilty about that. So that's kind of my motivation for wanting to do that. So so who's interested in being the chairperson?
It's not an easy thing to do. And I feel like the one person in this group that's most qualified would be Robin Sanger.
But I'm not a regular member, so I can't.
Can that be, can that happen even if she's not a regular member?
It's off the table.
Yeah. My term is up really too.
What about Karen?
She's not here. I would hate to do that to
Perfect.
her. I mean,
Talk to her about it.
we can't talk about this. It's
So
sunshine
nobody.
violation. So that was tonight's
Nominate her.
conversation.
Nominate her.
Is there any possibility that we can postpone this until next month when she's here?
So the only issue is I know I'm going to be out next month because I have a work conflict. I have to be out of town. And that was why I was trying to get the vote tonight so that we could have it ready for January. They could run the December meeting and then,
Would you consider remaining the chair if you had a vice chair that would, step in, like when you were gone, and then gradually take over as chair?
Can we vote, like, this is a once a year thing?
That's how it's written in our resolution anyway, to elect once a year.
Could we elect a temporary person to run the meeting next month, and then in January?
Well, we need a new vice chair anyway, because Paul was our vice chair and he's no longer on the committee. So we need a new vice chair and someone who will run the meeting for next month.
Everyone's
I
looking
think,
at everyone else.
The way
How
it-
about,
I feel like kind of similar situation. Like I missed some meetings, and I don't know if I can devote the time that would be needed to like do it justice. Unfortunately.
Carol?
no. I'm the newest member, I shouldn't be in this chair. Someone else should, but we know how that is.
Denise.
I feel completely unqualified, but
Oh, you're qualified.
Super good.
Oh yeah.
Look at you.
I feel like any one of us could do it at this point.
Yes.
But you have to
And
be
vice
able to
chair?
devote,
well, and I need some mentoring. Is that possible?
I don't
not
think so
possible.
because
it
right?
would come
Robert's
from the
rules again.
clerk's office, the
Yeah.
mentoring. I will say that if we didn't get to an agreement tonight, you could still have the December meeting, and it would be the next most senior member would be chairing the meeting,
oh,
since we wouldn't have our chair or our vice chair. But that's actually our next agenda item, is discussing December meeting, because we might also run into quorum
Problem.
issues, and our new alternate member's out of town for a little while, a couple months, so
when
needs
is
to
the
be
next
considered
meeting?
as well.
December 15th.
Oh,
Yes.
I won't be here. My husband's
Oh.
having surgery, so
That's why we have this as a discussion
Okay.
item.
I can't.
Holidays are always
So should we
tricky.
cancel the next meeting, postpone it, and then reconvene in January when we're back? Could we do that?
I don't know if you want to move to that item or stick with this item a little longer.
Can we get, well, maybe we should just wait for Karen to come back because maybe she would be interested in being vice chair or chair. So, okay, so I guess we will table this issue until the next meeting when we have a quorum.
And is that going to be in January?
Well, let's get to that next. So our next item is the December 15th meeting, and I know that I will not be here. So
And
does anybody else know that, so?
I won't, because of my husband.
Okay, and we know that second alternate will not be here, so that would depend on 1, 2, 3, and Robin, right? Or do we need 3 for a quorum?
Yes.
I should be in
you
town.
would be able to be here, and Karen and me, I'm able to be here.
That would be 1, 2, 3, and then Robin, are you able to be here, do you know?
For December 15th, I believe so, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I shouldn't be out of town or anything.
okay, so who is the next senior person? Do you know off the top of your head, Robin?
Um,
All of us?
The same.
Yeah.
I think so. One second.
Paul and I were on a
So,
3-year term. There were 2 people on a 2-year term, and there was 1 person on a 1-year term.
I know that it was Dory, Paul Robinson, then Denise.
Okay, so you're gonna run December's meeting?
Oh, December's meeting, if it happens.
Yes.
Oh, right, I will do that.
But is it not going to happen?
Well, if 4 of us are here, then.
3.
3 of it, okay.
Then it'll be, Taylor will be here, you'll be here, I'll be here,
And
Hopefully
hopefully
Karen.
and hopefully Karen. But if not, we'll have a quorum with the 3 of us.
Okay.
And is the second alternate, it's just this few months she's gone? It is a she?
Yes. So she, her name is Jennifer Bracey, and I spoke with her on the phone. She's very excited about being on the committee, very enthusiastic about it.
Good.
Actually does like some sustainability work as part of her like field. So she does like she's done some greenhouse gas inventories and like ESG reporting, environment, sustainability, government. But you all know that, I'm sure. And she told me that she is a chemical engineer on an assignment right now in Hawaii. So
That's nice.
Wow.
yes, she says she will be back in, I think, May. So in the meantime, she wants to have more conversations about how to be engaged with the committee.
Could she remote in for these meetings?
Likely not. That is not something that I think the city manager has approved for city board meetings, or maybe it's the commission hasn't approved it.
Are we
But I
live
can always,
now, though?
I
We're
can always
live,
check
right?
in. We are.
So she could just watch the meeting, is what I mean. So
Yes, yes, she might be right now.
that- Jennifer?
She says she does want to watch the meetings and be engaged and help however she can over
But,
the next few months.
I mean, this is just a question about practicality. So if we don't have a second alternate present till May, what happens if one needs that person? Then we just don't have a meeting, no quorum?
If we didn't have three committee members, including an alternate, then the meeting would have to be canceled. But I don't think we've run into that before.
I don't think we have, even with COVID.
But I think it should be okay.
Is there
That
any way to
regard.
put the word out that we're looking for new members?
So the Board of Commissioners made the appointment last week.
We haven't, there's another person in the queue, though. Isn't Siobhan Nahan
Yeah.
also still in line wanting to be part of this committee as well, or is there someone else as well?
I think she did apply, but the Board of Commissioners made the appointment.
So we have at least one other person who wants to be on this committee.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's several community members
Good.
who are interested
That's
in
good.
this committee. Because I did receive several phone calls from interested community members
Great.
wanting information.
Would it be possible for you to find out what people's terms are? Like, I never knew when I was supposed to be finished.
I actually
and-
have that information.
Oh,
I
okay.
could share that with you.
Correct.
If anyone has any questions about that, I'd be happy to share that information.
Well, it'd be good just to know.
Would you like me to share that now?
Sure.
Okay. So, Dory, your term renewed as of November 8th, and it will go through September 30th of 2025. Taylor, your term will go through September 30th of 2024. Denise, same with your term, September 30th of 2024. Karen Gallagher's term will run through September 30th of 2023. Carol, your term will run through September 30th of 2025. And Robin, your term will run through September 30th, 2024. And Jennifer Bracey's term will run through September 30th of 2025.
Well, so has everybody been appointed to 3 years? I thought there was staggering amounts.
No, so there are, I think these are good questions, everyone. I think Dory's is a 3-year term. It looks like Jennifer Bracey's is a 3-year term. Taylor, Denise, I think Taylor might be a 3-year term as well. Denise, I think, is a 2-year term. Karen Gallagher is a 1-year. Carol, I think yours is a 3-year. Robin, it looks like yours is also a 3-year.
Right. So
Hard to see in
a
this.
couple, like you had been asked last year, both of you, if you wanted to be
Right.
renewed. So people get asked. So Karen was asked a couple of times.
I see.
Yes, a member can serve for a maximum of 6 years, as according to our
'Cause
resolution.
no one asked me if I wanted to.
Well, because you haven't been on for 3 years. You weren't an alternate. You were only an alternate for
But
the
they
past year and a
didn't
half.
ask me if I wanted to move to a
Well,
3
you had your application in, so that's the way that it works. Unless you pull your application and say, no, I don't want to be on a committee.
Don't do
Forget
that.
it.
Don't do that.
Okay, so we all clear about that?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a pretty stable committee, right? At least 2 more years for everybody. 2024. Oh, Karen is 2023. but
Because
she's
hers
been
renews
renewed.
every year.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very stable, which is good.
Yes. Okay, so next item is the conversation about knowledge and nibbles.
I have one more question about the sunshine laws. If you have a chairperson and a vice chairperson, don't you talk together?
No. I talked to Robin.
So there's a go-between, sort of like.
Liaison.
Okay.
Well, there's not even a liaison. She can't send a mess. I can't send Robin a message and then Robin convey it to you.
I see.
Because that's skirting sunshine. That's
I
defeating the
see.
purpose.
Right.
Isn't it like sending a message back is like definitely the thing that can't be done or something? I know it's like there's more to it that, but yeah, like you can say
Right.
something to Robin to say to us, but we cannot then respond to that.
Correct.
Right.
But isn't it only on topics upon which we may vote?
Correct. So if I wanted to email you and tell you about some video or something that has nothing to do with
pictures.
sustainability that you might like because you like turtles or something, then or penguins.
Yeah, I think the wording is any business that might come before the committee for discussion. So even if there's not a vote, if it's something that can foreseeably be discussed by the committee, it shouldn't be exchanged personally. But if you wanted to exchange, call each other up about anything that's not related to committee business, that's fine.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Knowledge and nibbles.
Yeah. Yes. Where's my list? Sorry, a lot of things to keep track of here. Okay, so the Knowledge and Nibbles series actually occurs annually. It's an event put on by the Cultural Services Department. Last year, they worked with Shannon, our city arborist, and had 4 presentations that were, had a specific focus on that and on trees. And so this year, I am working with them, and our focus is on sustainability, which is great. And so our sessions have been lined up, and I have, secured guest speakers for those dates, and I'm happy to share that information with you all. It hasn't gone live yet on the website, but pretty soon here we'll be launching it, the information that can then be shared.
And when you say the website, which website?
So you will have to register to attend this event because they want to keep track of number of people, since we'll be providing some food. So I want to know get an idea how many people will come. So it will be on the Tarpon Arts website, where you go for any sort of shows and cultural events. So that will be where it is hosted and where you can register for the event. But we'll be trying to advertise it across multiple forums. It will take place every one of these at the Heritage Museum over in Craig Park. It will take place on the first Thursday of the month at 6 p.m., starting in February and going through May. With one of those dates, we had to alter slightly. So the dates are Thursday, February 2nd at 6 p.m., for that one, we will have Doris Heitzman from Florida Friendly Landscaping and also Melissa West from Florida Friendly Landscaping as part of the UF IFAS extension for Pinellas County. And their topic will be Florida Friendly Landscaping Essentials. Cool. And that's going to be a really, really neat, comprehensive, dynamic presentation. It's going to be very interactive. Yeah. I think that one will be great. And there'll be kind of an overview of Florida-friendly landscaping, and then also honing in a little bit on water conservation, especially to kind of tie in with some of our other water conservation efforts we have going on right now. Our next one will be Thursday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. with Devin Frankie from Keep Pinellas Beautiful. And he will be giving a presentation, a macro look at microplastics, which should be cool. And that's going to tie in with our Keep Pinellas Beautiful cleanup events.
Nice.
So we'll advertise at the end of that session those opportunities for community members to volunteer with them and the city. Then for Thursday, April 6th at 6 p.m., our speaker will be Catherine Munson from the Southwest Florida Water Management District, and it will be a district overview and water conservation tips. So she'll be talking about SWFMA, their mission, what they do, and then giving some good advice for how we can all conserve water. Again, kind of tying in with this water conservation efforts we have going on right now. And then the last presentation, saving the best for last, of course, May 11th at 6 p.m. is
Robin.
Myself. And I am hoping that my presentation will be on the sustainability plan. That's the goal, that it will be done, and we'll be introducing that to the public and a look at all of our wonderful initiatives. So.
And are we all allowed to go to these things?
That's a good question.
I think if we tape our mouths shut, we should be allowed to go.
We sit
I want to say,
in different
I,
places.
I'm going to follow up on this just to make sure I'm not giving any false information, but I think as long as you didn't interact with one another at these events, that it would be fine.
That's what I think too.
Since I know that,
We can't talk to even the
Sometimes.
perception of talking to each other, but I think
Right.
if we're there together, it's okay. But we
right,
can't talk to each other.
yes.
Could we
I think that
ask a
is correct.
question at the event?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's
think
just like
so.
a ribbon cutting. Like you have the commissioners all going
Oh,
to a
yeah.
ribbon cutting together. They just aren't
They-
talking about items that are going to be on an agenda.
Yeah, they talk to each
So-
other all the time.
Right. So follow that model and it works.
So we can talk to, say hello. and-
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just as Robin said, that the perception, like if you're like in the corner whispering, that could be or even if you're whispering about your dog or something, the public might not know what you're, talking about. So,
True.
um,
Well, I don't know about asking questions, so that's an interesting one.
I never thought of that either.
Probably best not,
Okay.
but I don't know.
It's hot.
You
Find
can
out if we
email
can-
them later. I'm not kidding. You can get the contact information
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
presenter and
yeah.
email.
I've interviewed some of these people anyway, so.
All right, I'm excited. I think this is going to be great. I'm looking forward to the May presentation, all of them, but I think that's great. All right,
It's
so
really amazing how in like a year, how all of this has changed with Robin.
yes,
you know?
definitely.
It's really amazing.
Okay, so our next item is a conversation on recommendations for community partners to engage with in 2023. So I'll just kick us off because I spent some time, I looked through St. Petersburg's Sustainability Action Plan and started thinking about who we've already engaged with. And I was thinking of it in all three contexts, like the social aspect of community partners that we should be engaging with, the economic partners that we should be engaging with, and then also the environmental. So I didn't organize them particularly well. I started to, and then I was like, Robin's going to have to figure this out. But I went ahead and made a document where I listed the partner. I added a link to their website so that people can go to it and learn more. And then I also added in the mission statement of the organization. So these aren't necessarily a list of people that we would necessarily engage with in 2023. I was thinking that we could whittle that down or look at it, you know what I mean, and narrow down, because obviously it's a really long list. But what I was trying to help Robin do was, with our sustainability action plan, what we had talked about before and what remember when Paul put together for us the template, and it looked similar to St. Petersburg's, where it had the action item, who was responsible for it within the city, for following up with it, and who is the, main person within the city. And then he also had a column of who are the community partners that are going to help us with this action item, and then also a timeline, a cost. There were all those different components. So that's what when I was thinking about making this list and trying to be useful with it. That's kind of where I was coming at it from. So that's why the list is really long. And I shared it with Robin just today, so that's why it didn't go out to everybody else yet. But that's kind of what I was thinking, and that's what I did. So
we'll see you for next meeting.
well, I think Robin can send it out now she just didn't have any time because I literally sent it this afternoon.
Dory,
so.
could you repeat, you said for social engagement, for economic engagement, what were those different categories you thought of?
And then environmental. So the
Environmental.
3 E's that we've been
Thanks.
our sustainability construct, we've been thinking about it in those buckets. So like I said, I started to try to rearrange it, but then I also was thinking some of these are government agencies. So I started to try to arrange it by government agencies, and then I gave up and was like,
Well, I'd like to see your template, because that might be good for us to be able to do a similar process.
Right, we can
Because I just had a few ideas, but that's a brilliant template. there's one other area that I would really like to, the engagement or education piece, because I feel very passionate about reaching people to change their consciousness regarding sustainability. So one of the places that I felt had a really good turnout, and I've mentioned it before, is the Unitarian Universalist Church. Very forward-thinking. We met there for quite a while when we were having Turn the Tide for Tarpon meetings, and I feel that they would be really excellent partners, but I didn't write anything about it. But my passion is really to change the perception and make it palatable to all types of people by bringing the conversation into normalizing the conversation on sustainability, not polarizing it the way it has been for so long. But I feel like there's walls that are falling right now, and we could really take advantage of that,
That's great. Yeah, I did not include faith-based communities or partners at all in my thinking, so I think that that's really great.
Well, wouldn't that fall under social, though?
Definitely, yeah. I just
yeah.
didn't.
Okay.
that-
I see
didn't-
what you're
I
saying
didn't
as a
add any.
subgroup. And I think that the UU Church also has environment as one of their, they have the arts, environment, social justice is one of their big bucket things that they focus on.
That's excellent.
I'm pretty sure.
And did you mention the Merchants Association?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Maybe
feel like
economic.
reaching out to business as partners is going to be huge, because there's a lot of waste that there is generated from a lot of the local businesses, and we are getting busier. So I would love to see more sustainable efforts from a lot of the restaurants, for instance.
I'd like to kind of go through my list really quickly just to give some context of like what I was thinking about why adding some of these things. So the first is the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, and that's because it's a planning council for like looking at the whole area instead of just Tarpon Springs. Also,
Can I interject there one
Sure.
thing? I just watched, Paul Robinson sent me a thing about, what's it called, Public Square?
yes.
And on that, he was on a panel discussion, and the woman from the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council that sat on that with him was brilliant. Anyway, that's it.
What was that called?
I'm going to bring it up in the
Okay, go ahead.
comments
Okay.
at the end of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
So the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority, because a lot of our, things are around transportation and transit. So, and then also the Department of Transportation, because there's a lot of funding coming to do some of these projects like walkability and things, connecting communities. So,
You have this all written down.
I have it all
It's
written
gonna be
down. I
set
just
in
don't
place.
have like my thoughts behind it. So that's why I'm just kind of throwing out. And then the Tarpon CRA, because that's redevelopment. Pinellas County School Board, St. Petersburg College, University of South Florida, those are pretty obvious. The Extension Office, which Robin's already connecting with for Nips and Nibbles. Tampa Bay Watch, the Tampa Bay Estuary Program, Ocean Aid 360. So this is the group that does the Ghost Trap Rodeo, where they go out and collect the old crab traps that are abandoned. Florida Clinicians for Climate Action, because all of the health pieces that we've talked about. The League of Women Voters, because they do a lot of engagement and trying to get more increased voter turnout. Solar United Neighbors, the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, that's my organization. Keep Pinellas Beautiful, Tampa Bay Waterkeeper, Oceana, they have a more global look at keeping our oceans healthy. So to your point about, how we need to be more broad in our thinking. The Florida Sustainability Directors Network, the Southeast Sustainability Directors Network, because they have lots of policy. ICLEI, which we've partnered with to do the carbon count for the city. The Florida Native Plant Society, they have ordinances for native plants. And we had talked about, and that's one of our action items. So they've got a template of an ordinance. So instead of reinventing the wheel, the Garden Club of Tarpon Springs, the GFWC, so that's the Women's Club of Tarpon Springs. There's also a Florida Invasive Species Partnership, and their mission is to facilitate and prevent the control of invasive species on public and private lands. So it could help with like HOAs and things. And then also, I put in business things, and I put Karen Lemon's name next to it because I think she could help facilitate with some of this. The Suncoast Rise Above Plastics group that helps to talk to businesses about reducing plastic use. The Florida Aquarium and Zoo Tampa and Clearwater Marine Aquarium. And what I'm thinking is, because we have like injured animals and they have, you know, those rehabilitation. And I feel like it would be a real benefit to the city if people knew that we have manatees here, and just like that there could be huge partnerships between those organizations that don't currently exist. And then the Chamber of Commerce and the Merchants Association. So,
Great.
So, since it's on the agenda, can we see that and then have that sent to us?
yes, so that's what I was saying,
Okay.
that I only sent this to Robin today, so
Today,
she didn't
okay.
have a chance to send it out. And we can also continue this conversation next month as well.
I think that that would be really good. I feel that I was just thinking within the city itself, and you were really expanding into the region, what the opportunities were for partnership. So with that in mind, I may come up with other ones, but I think that you covered everything that was
I know about everything.
possible.
No, I'm sure that there's others, and I mean, like, I didn't include Peace for Tarpon. Now I'm like looking at you, thinking of
Yeah.
that. And you know, there's other.
Karen Gallagher mentioned Peace for Tarpon.
Yes, I have some from Karen I can read. So she said, I feel like we can look toward our park and rec department, the local high school environmental club / professor, and Peace for Tarpon. There is also, I believe, a local garden club here in Tarpon, maybe working with them to come up with edible garden projects here in town, as well as discussion groups on invasive / non-invasive species. And I think that's about it.
Okay.
So I'm not clear about what listing these partners is doing. Is that going to become part of our plan? Or are we going to list them next to the item that's appropriate?
We could, and that's what I was thinking when I was making my list, because I was looking at St. Pete's and that's how they did it. We had also talked about, like we had tonight, the presentation from Solar United Neighbors. So extending an invitation to the community partners for them to come talk to us, maybe
And
on
they
a
should
certain
be on it.
cadence throughout the year for next year. So I'm just trying to like think ahead of like
Do you
how.
have them on the list?
Who, Solar United Neighbors?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
And
So
for-
like my intent would be for them to engage with us, and then we could help kind of like spread the word of what they're doing broader through
Yes.
our communication.
Perfect.
And for the arts, I would suggest Creative Pinellas.
Yeah.
And I would suggest the Ice Cube Project.
Perfect.
And there's also the Florida Gulf Coast Conservancy that an artist, Leslie Newman, has up in Arapika. She'd
absolutely.
be wonderful to come and speak. She's, yeah.
We've got 6 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, we've got 6 minutes, so let's go
Florida
ahead and
Wildlife
take,
Corridor.
so now that we've kind of got this going, let's continue to send ideas to Robin.
Okay.
She can compile, send them out, and then we can talk about this more at the next meeting as well. So it can be an item for discussion for next meeting. Does that work, Robin?
But you're not going to be here.
Right, but
Well,
Okay.
We can do it another.
y'all can discuss it without me.
Talk
Yeah,
about
I
it.
can send out Dory's list, and then you all can send me your suggestions, and I'll compile and put them all into one document.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so the next item is items for the next meeting agenda. And we've already got the carrying over the vote for chairperson and vice chairperson. We also have carrying over a little bit more about the
Ongoing website additions.
ongoing website additions. Thank you. Why don't I see, why is my brain not seeing it? There it is.
The final wording maybe on the sustainability action, or sustainability plan art edition.
great.
Yep.
Vote if we can. I don't know if we want to do that next meeting or
Vote
Yeah.
for what?
the chair
Chair,
and the
vice
vice chair.
chair.
Oh,
Yep, I added that.
T minus
especially if
5.
Karen's here. That'd be great.
and you know, I would entertain being vice chair. I just feel like not, like I don't want to continue feeling guilty.
Perfect.
So,
You have nothing to feel guilty about, my dear.
Guilt itself.
I mean, that's why there is a vice chair to step in when you'd be gone.
okay.
Moving on.
Hang on. Do we have any other items that we know for next month, Robin?
This isn't an item for next month, but I did want to remind the committee about our timeline for the plan and talk about, you know, just briefly my intention. So we had allotted a couple months for the community engagement, which we did, a couple months for having those discussions about the actions list, adding, removing, taking into consideration that feedback. And then our next phase in our timeline is the first thorough outline of the plan. So I would like to plan to bring that first outline of the plan with all the updated wording. You know, staff has seen it. It's, you know, ready for your consumption at the January meeting.
Okay.
So that is my intention there is, you know, the next time I bring the sustainability plan to you, it will be an outline.
Good.
I'm not sure what that means. What do you mean an outline? How is that different from these items? What do you mean?
So
How will
it will
look?
go beyond just the actions. It will be an outline of, you know, the whole report.
This is what's going to go here and
Yes.
different sources,
Yes.
maybe.
But
So-
just an outline, no content, just
There-
headings?
I'll do the best I can in terms of content. It'll be more than just headings.
Oh, okay,
I'm going to get it started for you.
okay.
I don't know how in-depth it will be, it just, you know, revisiting our timeline. So there will be the first thorough outline that I bring to you all for your review. And then after that, I will produce the first draft of the report
Oh, okay.
that then we will review. So this is the next step in that direction, basically, is getting pen to paper, which I think we're ready for.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so then maybe that seems like a light agenda, so maybe that would be a good thing for a December meeting anyway, right? So, okay. Next is staff comments. Robin?
I do have some, yes. Sorry. Yes, I just wanted to share some updates with you all. Just some cool things I'm going to be participating in. I'm going to be the co-chair of our Pinellas Sustainability and Resiliency Network for the year 2023. So that's our
Great.
our professional network for sustainability resiliency professionals in Pinellas County. I will also be, or I am already also on the steering committee of the Florida Sustainability Directors Network. So that's the Florida-wide sustainability network. There's a lot of networks that we participate in. And then, of course, I also participate in the Southeast Sustainability Directors Network as well. I had a presence at the USF Sustainability Conference was it last week or the week before? And that was a great event, and got to interact with some students and let them know about our internship opportunity. And we've had some great applicants for that, and I'm hoping to hire soon. Still have to conduct interviews and whatnot, but I'm hoping by, well,
Motion
I
to
had hopes for
extend
December.
the meeting 5 minutes. I'm sorry, we're
Oh, yes,
at 8
thank
o'clock.
you.
All in favor?
Then-
Aye.
then
Aye.
Aye.
Taylor, okay. I'll write that down. That's it for me, actually.
I think that's great.
If there are conferences or things that board people can go to, could you let us know?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And can you write down those groups that you've become involved with?
Sure,
I didn't have time to write it down, but I would love to see it by email.
Yes.
sure, yes, I'd be happy to do that.
And congratulations for being in that position already.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
That's good, very
great.
good.
All right, do we have any committee member comments?
No comments from me.
No?
Oh, no comment.
I haven't forgotten about my plant stuff. I'm still, I haven't put as much work into it as I should, but, you know, life, so I'm getting it done though.
All right, very good, Taylor. Thank you. I just will share that I did speak, or not speak. I emailed with Paul Robinson and thanked him for his service to the committee and for you know helping kind of pioneer what we're doing. And he did share, like Robin mentioned, that he participated in a 4-person panel. It was a production of WEDU, and it was a public square climate change. So it was advertised in TBT weekend in the Thanksgiving issue, and it came out to yesterday. But he also has the link so that you can watch it. So I will share that with Robin so that everybody can take a look at that if you're interested in seeing that. And then I will also just sharing. Professionally at work, we did a webinar today that was actually co-chaired with the Southeast Sustainability Directors Network. That was an education piece where the Florida Department of Transportation and the Florida Energy Office, both the director of the Energy Office and Florida Department of Transportation spoke on as well as the Sustainability Directors Network, spoke about the federal funding opportunities that are coming with both the IIJA and with the Inflation Reduction Act. And there's just so many different pots of money that are coming. So
And how did you hear about that?
I organized it.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
So yes.
I missed that piece. Okay.
But that was, and it was for local municipalities to learn about the federal funding that's coming through the state agencies and then going out to local municipalities. So,
Attended.
and Robin attended.
I learned.
So there's just lots and lots of federal funding coming, and we need to make sure that we're taking a look and in the loop of,
for
to
sure.
find opportunities. And a lot of them are, unique to coastal communities too. So
Excellent.
So I would just say that, I was gone because of my Cool Pinellas project, Roberts and mine, Cool Pinellas project. And we had over 100 people from St. Pete, Dunedin, and Tarpon involved in it. Children, families, all types of people. And it was so incredible. We went out in kayaks, and we all had these ice cubes that we made from salt water, and everyone designed cups, and we all throw them out. And on the website's the drone video. I think maybe you've seen it. But everyone commits when they throw their ice cubes to working to mitigate climate change. And everyone's sort of we're growing this community, sort of grassroots stuff, with people who aren't really engaged so much. But I'll tell you, those children knew so much. And we're like they're shaking their finger at their parents. And it was a really incredible way to engage with people. And it's just growing more and more.
that's awesome. And one more thing that I wanted to share is yesterday I participated in the Great American Teach-In. So I would encourage all of you next year to please sign up with one of your local schools, one of our local schools, to talk about your passion. So I brought the Tesla out, and the kids the 5th graders got to sit in it. We talked about emissions, we talked about, cars, and it was just so much fun. So I would encourage everybody to do that. It's annually in the middle of November every year. So I'll make sure next year in October or September to put that on everybody's radar
the more
again.
we can communicate these things, the more we can all participate.
Exactly. All right, we are at 8:05, so I'll go ahead and adjourn us. Thank you all. See you in January.
Do we have to make a motion to adjourn or anything?
Might as well.
May as well.
I get it to adjourn.
Second? All right, all in favor? Aye. All right.